Good morning, everybody. Can you hear? Pretty good? Okay. All right. Welcome to our reopening. We're having the service outside. Hope to do this for the next 2 or 3 weeks as long as the weather cooperates with us. So bear with us, too, because we'll probably have some technical difficulty, but we say it's all going to be okay. So we'll make announcements later, but I'll welcome everybody back. Thank you so much for coming out today. It's good to see people that I haven't seen for a while. It's been a long 12, 13 weeks, I know. So anyhow, welcome. I'm going to turn it over to Maurita, and Cliff Beach will be our musician today, and Rick, of course, will be playing the piano. So, Maurita? Thank you.
I hope everybody can hear me. Yes? I hope so. Well, right now I'm supposed to share with you a Bible verse. And it is today from 1 Timothy, 4th chapter 8th verse. It says, "Godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of the life that is now and of that which is to come." Godliness is profitable. Now, we don't usually think in those terms. We usually think that that's something you do on Sunday morning, or maybe if you meditate daily, you do that in the mornings. Profitable. In other words, it's useful. It's useful. And it says, unto all things. In other words, what's going on is that what we do in a godly way, that is, when we address ourselves to God, we are changing subtly everything around us, every one of our other experiences. We are drawing into ourselves those blessings, those unseen blessings, those insights, those aha moments, those beautiful moments that come to us. Godliness is profitable unto all things, having promise of life that now is. It's going to be useful here, now, in whatever we do, wherever we go and with whomever we interact with. But, it says, and of that which is to come. Well, of course, they were holding the idea of heaven and hell over people's head at that time. And we don't do that. We know that life is eternal, consciousness is eternal, that blessings are eternal, that the opportunity to light, to learn, to experience the good is eternal. God doesn't deny us that, ever. We are loved. We are cherished. We are important, every single one. So, we don't have to worry about the life to come. That's taken care of. Being with God is the supreme thing. But it's profitable here and now. In everything we do. That's a nice assurance. And perhaps it's an encouragement, really. Perhaps it encourages us to keep on doing those spiritual things, those spiritual practices, remembering God, thinking of Him and saying thank you to Him from time to time during the day. I like that, don't you? Thank you, Timothy. A lovely idea. A lovely idea. Shall we say our divine science statement of being? We don't have it projected anywhere, but many of you do know it. Oh, you have it? Oh, good, you have it in hand. Fine. Then together. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God, and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
All right. Got to do a little moving around here. Get the shields up.
There's something
Let me help you there.
Sorry.
You gonna use that one?
Yeah, this is mine. You need to put this thing up? Or just wait a second so I'm going to use the sheets.
All right.
Just like being on TV. If you see a brother standing by the road with a heavy load from the seeds he sowed, and if you see your sister falling by the way, just stop and say, you're gone the wrong way. You gotta try a little kindness, show a little kindness, shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, you'll overlook the blindness of the narrow-minded people on the narrow-minded street. Don't walk around, look down and out. Lend a helping hand instead of doubt. The kindness that you show every day will help someone along their way. You gotta try a little kindness, show a little kindness, shine your light for everyone to see. And if you try a little kindness, you'll overlook the blindness of narrow-minded people on narrow-minded streets, of narrow-minded people on narrow-minded streets.
Thank you. It was just lovely. And you'll find out after I'm speaking for a while that it fits in beautifully with what I'm going to say. This is our time of healing meditation. This is the time in the week when, whether you have been in communication with your deeper self throughout the week or not, it's a time when we get still. We close our eyes and we just let everything go. Let our faces relax and our jaws and our necks and backs and, oh my, our shoulders. Our shoulders carry so much tension. We so often find them somewhere up where our ears are when they're supposed to be quite a few inches below. So we make sure that the shoulders are relaxed, peaceful. The neck, the chest, still taking a few deep breaths. And our stomach, legs, and feet. For it is when we are physically relaxed that we're able to then become mentally still. To mentally go within. To put the world aside for a little while. All the things to do, all the things he or she said, the things that are bothering us right now. Oh, I've got to take care of that. Why did he say this? It's put on a shelf. And instead, we allow the deeper self to hear, and for us to hear it. We listen for soul whispers, because it is certainly deep within that we get our wisest ideas, our most reliable, most effective thoughts. For indeed, our soul is one with the presence of God, which is everywhere. God right here, right now, within, without, God communicating, God supporting, God inspiring. When we get silent, and this day we give thanks. We give thanks for this beautiful garden, for all those who are here for the first time. We give thanks for the beauty of the day. We certainly feel a heart full of gratitude for nature and its beauty. For the fact that we felt good enough to come today. We had the energy and the desire to be with friends, to hear something that might be helpful. And as we go deeper and deeper, we can ask that pressing question, whatever it might be. How am I going to do this? When is the right time to move on this? Is this the right moment to undertake this thing. And so many more. So many more questions. However, if we go deep within, the answers are there. We know that the answers, the blessing, the guidance is within each and every person who is on our Valley Community Church prayer list. All of those who we know who need prayers for one thing or another, one difficulty or another. Friends, relatives, acquaintances, friends at work, not so much friends at work. The answers are there. We hold in this light of wisdom all the heads of governments around the world, including, of course, our own. And we affirm for each and all that inner wisdom, speaking, influencing right decisions, right words, right actions. And in this deep sense of relaxation and peace, we open not our physical ears, but our spiritual ears to God's guidance. In the 90 seconds that we're going to have of silence, I invite you to ask that question. Pose that problem. Because God, in His wisdom, can and will influence an idea, an insight, starting right now. Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. We might have been heavy laden with a question, with a controversy, with a challenge for a long time. And an idea may have come while we were silent, right now. But let us affirm together, if it did not come, then it will occur soon. The idea will come, the insight will come, the way will come. And for this, beloved Father, Mother, friend, companion, for this and so much more, we give deepest thanks. Amen. And now you will find in your orders of service
Do you have a copy?
I do not have a copy.
Just realized that.
My copy's inside. Thank you so much. Shall we say our Lord's Prayer, which is from the Aramaic? Our Father, which is everywhere, your name is sacred, your kingdom is come, and your will is throughout the earth, even as it is throughout the universe. You give us our needful bread from day to day, and you forgive us our offenses, even as we forgive our offenders. And you let us not into materialism, but separate us from error. Because yours are the kingdom, the power, and the song and praise from all ages, throughout all ages. Sealed in faith, trust, and truth. Amen. Oh, my sermon this morning is entitled, A Central Question. A Central Question. Through the years, I've read several accounts of people who have had a near-death experience. And in this experience, they encountered a being of light and total love. And while they were joyfully basking in this experience, they are very gently asked the question, what have you done with your life? Nobody ever, and sometimes people, some souls get very angry, very in your face about being separated from this experience of the total acceptance and the total unconditional love of God. But then they're told, it's not your time yet. You have to go back. And back they go. They find themselves once more in a physical body, many times with serious injuries, and that central question is still ringing in their heads. What have you done with your life? It occurred to me after reading several of these accounts that that question is one that all of us need to ask ourselves. What have I done with my life? It really beckons us to take one big step back, to stop looking at life, at least momentarily, from our usual viewpoint, and that is of being nose to nose with the daily challenges and pleasures of life. It challenges us to look at life not from a material point of view, but to look past the things we have, like a home, or automobile, a family situation, a financial situation, a reputation, what we might have accomplished in life academically, or socially, or materially, from the viewpoint of others, and so forth, all the outer things. The question of this being of light, whether it was God or Jesus or some other great spiritual being, this question had to be focused on something far deeper. Could it be referring maybe to the good decisions we've made in our life, or the bad decisions, the helpful things, and maybe the very unhelpful things, or things we look back and regret? What have you done with your life? I doubt that there's anybody here or within the sound of my voice who hadn't looked back in their lives and think, oh, I wish I hadn't said that. I wish I hadn't made that decision. I wish I hadn't done that. But sometimes we judge ourselves so cruelly We cause ourselves so much inner shame and grief that what we are really doing is ignoring the situation as it was, ignoring the pressures we were under at that time, forgetting that we were ignorant of certain facts about certain people and certain situations. We have to forgive ourselves for our mistakes. We have to give ourselves the benefit of the doubt, because we are always doing the best that we can, considering the mental or emotional situations we find ourselves in. We are always doing the best we can. That's a given. Sometimes it's not very good, but it's the best we could do at that time. On the other hand, there are some people that never take responsibility for their faults or their mistakes. It's always somebody else's fault. She did that. That's why that happened. Sadly, they are in deep trouble psychologically and spiritually. But of most importance, we need to remind ourselves that God never judges us. Never. He sees our mistakes as learning opportunities. Opportunities for spiritual growth. Now, if we can take that step back mentally and look through spiritual eyes, we can always find good things that came out because we made that mistake. But we have to look. You have to look carefully. If I hadn't done this, XYZ wouldn't have happened. They wouldn't have done this. And there were blessings that came out of it. Considering who the question came from, what have you done with your life? Certainly, it's got to have referred to our deeper nature, our spiritual nature. How have our thoughts and our spiritual convictions, how have they affected our regular thinking? And certainly our decisions, things we have done. Have we loved ourselves? Have we? Have we caught ourselves and corrected ourselves when our thoughts were about ourselves or others that were thoughts that were judgmental or critical, hateful maybe, unforgiving, derogatory? What has been our major attitude about ourselves and others? When we think about that, take it into consideration. Perhaps we have work to do on ourselves. But this takes some deep delving. It takes some thinking. It takes some deep dives behind the usual things we tell ourselves about ourselves, to the unvarnished truth about the unloving things we might have been taught early in our lives, or in youthful ignorance we might have adopted from those around us. We have to take a look at that. It takes really a lot of effort. It takes mental work to do this. But it is worth the effort because we have come to realize that not only are we capable of much, much better, because our basic nature is the image and likeness of God, but life is so much better, just as it said in Timothy. Life is so much better, happier, freer, more effective, productive, satisfying, when we base our thoughts and acts on certain ancient spiritual principles that are in harmony with our child of God nature. One of the ancient recipes for living in harmony with God and nature and man is from the book of Micah in the Old Testament. Micah 6:8. He hath showed thee, O man, what is good. And what doth the Lord require of thee but to do justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God? To do justly. Justly. Well, that means to act in accordance with what is impartial, what is honest, fair, what is integrous. Just to be just. To love mercy. Now, the definition of mercy certainly includes benevolence and tenderness of heart, compassion, sympathy, certainly. Can you imagine the tidal waves of good that treating everyone you meet, everyone you come into contact with, that mercy expressed would release into our world? Finally, to walk humbly with your God. Could that mean to express those acts and thoughts that are in harmony with your definition of God? For us in divine science, that would be to recognize that God is omnipresent. God's good is omnipresent as well. And if we choose to walk humbly with God, we are choosing to know that in every situation, every interaction in life, we are, in fact, interacting with God as well. God is right there. God is the peace. God is the understanding, the help, the creativity, the good, the right action that comes forth. That is, in fact, drawing on the power of God, the good of God right there. To remember that. It's not easy to remember sometimes, oh no. But if we can do that, for some of us, the words of Micah they're moving, they speak to us. Justice, mercy, and connecting with God with humility. Thy will be done. That's humility. It ensures that what you have done with your life is going to be something positive and a blessing to everybody. But of course, Micah wasn't the only one who gave out recipes for how to live. The Master, Jesus, certainly gave us a wonderful recipe for the method of thinking and acting so that we can answer that question, what have I done with my life, with a sense of inner satisfaction. In Luke 10:27, a phrase that you have heard so many times, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy strength and with all thy mind, and thy neighbor as thyself. So well known, that passage from the Bible. But it doesn't speak to everybody. It does not. Yet, when you connect gratitude with love, it's a little easier. It's a little bit easier. Many of us find it easy to notice the good things that come into our lives. Yes, something that should have been hard was so easy, surprisingly easy. You unexpectedly were the recipient of something absolutely unexpected, very special, maybe a compliment or a gift of some sort. Perhaps you noticed and you were delighted at the beauty of the day, the blueness of the sky, or perhaps there's a view somewhere near your home and you noticed how lovely it was and is. There are these moments that come into all our lives, and many of us have trained ourselves to notice them, to rejoice in them, to be grateful for them. Those thank you moments can easily turn into I love you, God moments as well. Whether you realize it or not, at that time you are both hearing and heeding what Jesus called the greatest commandment, to love. He called it the most important commandment in the 613 laws that the Jews had. A father was taking his 4th and 6th grade sons to school one day, and it was the 4th grader's birthday. And unfortunately, he had broken his arm. His mother had made cupcakes for everybody in the room, and but because his arm was in that cast, he couldn't carry the cupcakes into class. And so his dad asked the 6th grader if he would carry the cupcakes in. And the 6th grader said, no. The father, trying to make this into a teachable moment, said, what would Jesus do? And so the 6th grader thought for a moment, and he said, well, he'd heal him so then he could carry his own cupcakes into school. Clever kid. Clever. But one, hopefully, who will have learned in future years the valuable truth that there are simple ways to live a life that brings a positive impact on everybody and everything we encounter. The Dalai Lama has said it so succinctly: be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. Yes. To live always expressing kindness. Thank you. To live always expressing kindness is to live triumphantly. Fred Rogers and his Mr. Rogers Neighborhood based his wonderful program on just that theme, kindness. Last year and this year, 2019, 2020, the governor of the state of Pennsylvania has encouraged to celebrate the 143rd day of the year by being extra kind to other people, and then by sharing their kind deeds on a website, thereby to encourage other people to do the same thing, to be kind to others. Why the 143rd day of the year? Well, that number had a special meaning for Fred Rogers because it reflected the number of letters in his favorite phrase, I love you. 1, 4, 3. So in Pennsylvania, on the 143rd day of the year, they celebrate Pittsburgh's favorite son by emphasizing the quality that he emphasized so much, kindness. Kindness. Kindness and love. Could they be pretty much the same thing when you are interacting in a positive and powerful way, really, with your neighbor? As you interact with them, would kindness be an oil that lubricates all the interactions and makes them all smooth? Kindness, love, kindness. To me, there seems to be a pretty close connection there. You know, my son told me about a bumper sticker that he had seen. And the bumper sticker was, life is a school, love is the lesson. Has anybody else seen that bumper sticker? Anybody? I've never seen it. It says everything. It's just great. Life is a school. Love is the lesson. I think that's such a great thing. My goodness. Wouldn't it be great if we put out a bumper sticker like that? Life is a school. Love is the lesson. Valley Community Church. It might interest some people. What have you done with your life? What have you done with your life? It's a central question that everybody needs to look at. It refers not to the material things. It refers to the spiritual things of life. And certainly, love is the lesson. Let's go within and give thanks. It takes very little effort to pull us away from that sharp answer, especially if we try to do it consistently. It pulls away from a sharp answer to a kind one. It takes effort to return a kindness for something that hurt. It takes a change of attitude, certainly a recognition that so much more is accomplished when we are kind than when we are not. How it blesses life and blesses every interaction in life. For kindness, dear God, for love, for mercy, justice, walking humbly with God, for all this. For all these reminders and so much more, we say, thank you, dear God. Amen.
Let me be a little kinder. Let me be a little blinder to the thoughts of those about me. Let me praise a little more. Let me be, when I am weary, just a little bit more cheery. Think a little more of others and a little less of me. Let me be a little meeker with a brother who is weaker. Let me think more of my neighbor and a little less of me. Let me be, when I'm weary, just a little bit more cheery. Let me serve a little better those that I am striving for. Let me be a little meeker with a brother who is weaker. Think a little more of others and a little less of me. Let me be, when I'm weary, just a little bit more cheery. Think a little more of others and a little less of me. Think a little more of others and a little less of me.
And now, shall we bless the gifts? We thank you for doing that. And we thank you for tithes and offerings that help certainly to make our church services, to keep our church going, in fact, to make that possible. So shall we read this together? Today I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept His will, which is abundance in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and give freely of the special gift that I am. Through me, God, omnipresent, blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Yes.
Okay, I'm going to try to do some announcements here. Sorry. Okay. Important things. First off, today is birthday. Huh?
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Must be a short in the circuit, my circuit. Today is birthday Sunday, and so we haven't celebrated birthdays in a while because we haven't been here. But we have 3 birthdays today: Sylvia Clarkson, Pam Woods, and Kendrick Wheeler. So we're going. Please put on your mask, and we're going to sing happy birthday to those folks. You have to have your mask on to sing. That's the rules.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Okay, and before I make all the other announcements, wanted to do something special today. We have 2 young gentlemen in our congregation today. That Kendrick has a birthday, but he has also graduated from high school, and his friend Mitchell. Congratulations. George Mason and Mitchell.
I'm on the side.
Okay, so that's all right. So we wish both of you the best of luck in the future. I know that you'll do great whatever you do. I remember Kendrick, I was yelling at him for running through the church, and now look at him. He's like twice my height. So anyhow, but I remember that for him running through the church and me yelling at him. So anyhow, just congratulations. And Amy Jo bought cake, and they will be serving cake and coffee in the annex. So you help yourself in there. Amy Jo will serve it to you as you go through. Pam is going to start her journaling class back this Tuesday night, 6:30. Is that correct? For the people that are in her journaling class. Maurita still has her reading class on Wednesday nights. We are going to probably start back our coffee house at Mill Mountain Coffee this week. We're going to attempt to do that and see how that works out. So I'm not sure how many people how they're doing the seating yet, but we are going to attempt to do that. So we're trying to get things back to some bit of normalcy as we can. The basket, the prayer basket is up here while we're outside. Please pick up a name or 2. The basket is pretty full. Also, the offering basket will be up here, so if you have an offering to make, you can put in that basket. I also ask that the papers that you had with the orders of service, with the statement of being and everything, either keep them for yourself if you're coming back next week or whenever, so we don't have to put any more. If they're not, just put them in the the offering basket so we can recycle them, so nobody else will use them again. So please do that. Maurita, did you have anything about your guiding light thing?
I do, yes. We have a support group for people who have had a near-death experience, and for those who have been interested in this whole subject. And we meet once a month. It is on the 2nd Friday of the month at 7 o'clock. And we are not going to have a person-to-person meeting. We are going to have it on Zoom. And we're going to have it, our guest speaker is going to be a very able and knowledgeable person who's been an experiencer before. And his name is David, and I can't remember his last name, maybe it's Lawrence. But at any rate, this is a man who's taken a lot of responsibilities when it comes to groups of people who are able to help those who have had near-death experience, because there is a great deal of adjustment to one's life after such an experience. At any rate, David is going to be a very, very knowledgeable and wonderful speaker, and just tune into the website, and I will certainly make it known over the internet when and how, and join me. I'm sure you'll experience a very interesting evening, 7 o'clock this coming Friday.
And speaking of Zoom, I know most of you all have probably been Zoomed out for the last 12 weeks, but our church has Zoomed every night for the last 12 weeks. We've been Zooming, so we stopped Friday night. Friday night was our last one. So it's good to see y'all back in person. I love talking to you on the TV, on the computer, but it's nice to see you back. But I hope that that was helpful to people that were not able to get out and do things. But we did it every night, 7 o'clock. We were right there. So I'm very grateful for the people that showed up. So does anybody have anything they need to say or want to say? Or... Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Dan. Oh. Thank you for Zooming every single night and being there for us.
Oh, you're welcome. I was glad to do it. So you learn a lot of things about people when you're not in church. So and we're quarantined for like 12 weeks. So anyhow, but it's been interesting. I'm glad. I hope everybody is still healthy and will stay that way. I do ask. We have a few people. Jerry is going to have a procedure tomorrow. So is Judy Mason. And our friend Rachel is not doing well. I ask that you keep all of those in prayer. And keep them. I know that they all will be well. But Jerry and Judy both will be having surgery tomorrow. Do you know what time yours is, Jerry?
7:30.
7:30. I'm not sure what time Judy's is, but anyhow, keep all of those in prayer. Also, I have a niece that is struggling with of all things, I guess she inherited from me, kidney stone. She's having a really hard time, and she's going to have surgery. So I ask that you keep her in prayer also. So, anybody else got anything? If not, we will have closing prayer, and we will do this again next week. I have checked the weather. So far, it's supposed to be 70-some degrees. But as I said before, we live in Virginia, so we don't know. But we plan to have it outside.
Okay. Our final prayer will be an acknowledgement that wherever we are, God is. And as we make this part of our daily thinking, we reap, and it's far more than just spiritual. We reap the benefits of blessings in every interaction, in every situation, in every condition. So we remember with gratitude to express kindness, to express love, and to express thanks to God for all that we have and all that we are going to be receiving, all the good that is coming forth. Amen.